hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down. Can always go another round. Welcome to the underground. Real sports with real sports guys. It's a flex that had his mindset, ready for whatever grind next. My mindset, working with the time left, hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down. Can always go another round. Welcome to the underground. Real sports with real sports guys.
Welcome to the underground. Welcome to the Real Sports Guys. Please check us out on all platforms, Real Sports Guys. You can also get us on all podcast platforms. You can go to realsportsguys.com. Rocket ready to rock and roll. We got a good show here to go on today. You can tell by how one of our guys addressed what we're going to end up talking about. Uh, and I had to be fair. After air, I was about to get on him, but he was consistent. He wore the championship gear last year. He's going to do it again this year. What's up, my man Darnell? How you doing, man?
Hey man, good as always. Got to watch the game yesterday. Worked last night, and yeah, it was a good night, man. So we're gonna talk about it, and just ready to get on with the show.
All right, man. You hurt my eyes over here, but that's okay. We got my man. We got my man from Shy Village. They got their man. We'll talk about that later on. What's up?
That's there,
What's up,
man. That's
Carl?
my man. I'm doing well, man. A lot to talk about with this bear because I'm stunned. I can't believe they pulled it off. I thought that he would go to the Raiders, but we'll talk about it. I think we know why he went to the Bears. It wasn't because of the McCaskies or Ryan Poles. It was because of Caleb Williams. But but we'll talk about it more in detail. But yeah, it's I hope he can do it, but I think it's Josh McDaniels 2.0, but we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll get into that. We got a full show. We want to at least before we get into the heart of the stuff, talk about the national championship, talk about the Bears, stuff like that. We want to make sure we cover other things that we paying attention to in the news. Darnell, is there anything else you paying attention to in the news before we get in the heart of our conversation?
Man, looks like Terrence Crawford and did we talk about Crawford and Canelo?
No, we
No,
didn't talk. You and I
no.
touched back and
All
forth
right.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, Crawford and Canelo looks like it's gonna end up happening at the end of not the end of the year, but in September. Something that we've been looking at. Terrence Crawford is arguably the pound for pound best boxer in the world. Boxing in general has been on life support.
That's
There's
right.
been reports that ESPN is going to get out the game too. We had HBO get out the game, Showtime got out of boxing, Fox got out of boxing, and now ESPN looks like they're going to get out of boxing as well. So boxing is in a bad place, and we're going to get two of the top pound for pound boxers in the world, even though they're very they're ways away from each other in terms of weight because Canelo fights at 168. Terrence Crawford fights at 154, and Terrence Crawford really he just got to 154 because he has been campaigning at 147 for the past 10 years or so. So it's gonna be a stretch, but they're gonna make the fight happen. Um, it's gonna definitely bring some eyeballs to the sport, and I know I'll be watching it, and I know you'll be watching it too.
Yeah, it's I think it's going to be a great one. I mean, I think it has all the elements of the great fights we used to watch growing up, and for me, I think we have great fights out there. We just have a lot. The business is getting in the way of making boxing work and putting it together. And I'm hoping, that you know uh, there's a way to continue to make some of these big fights and getting folks in the ring. We've had some decent matchups, and so hopefully boxing can find a way to find its way through, and somebody can continue to get us in the ring and have some of these fights. So we'll keep watching that as well. Carl, anything else you paying attention to outside of the topics we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, something we don't talk about that much, but I'm gonna talk about The Dodgers ruining the sport of baseball. You can laugh all you want to. I mean, the season's over before it started. So the Dodgers just got the two best relievers on the market. Obviously I'm a Cubs fan, so we lost out on the guys, but all the deferred money they're doing, and they're just bastardizing the sport. I mean, no other team can do this type of deferred money they're doing with Shohei and with Yamamoto and Blake Snell, and so really, I love my Cubbies. I really have fallen out of love with baseball itself, and I think this is going to exacerbate it. And again, I grew up a Dodgers fan because my late father, obviously Jackie Robinson and Tommy Smith and Murray Wills and a lot of Dodger players I grew up with and liked before I really gravitated to the Cubs. But this is just bad it seems like most of the teams are out of it before it starts, and it's deferred money thing that needs to be stopped. And the only thing I think is going to stop this is maybe a strike, and that's not going to really help. They need a salary cap in baseball. They need a revenue floor as well as ceiling, and it's needed, and also just need to market it better. I mean, these players, they can walk down Michigan Avenue, you don't know who they are, and you can talk about Cubs too, and you don't know who they are. So it's a situation where this sport is dying, just like boxing is, and it's really because I think people just aren't captivated by the sport anymore, and that's the main thing. And really, there's no dominant figures that Otani's supposed to be the dominant figure of the game. He could walk down Michigan Avenue and people wouldn't know who he is. So that's the thing. So it's a sad day in baseball, and I'm gonna watch my Cubbies, but I don't see them have any chance of winning this year, and that's really unfortunate. That most teams know they're not going to win when the first pitch is thrown opening day, and that's a sad commentary. So,
but I think there's a number of teams who are, the Mets and other folks who are spending money. But you still have those teams who put together really good rosters and manage. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like the Dodgers are favorite. I don't know if they're gonna run away for it. And to tell you the truth, I probably paid more attention to baseball lately in the past couple of years than I probably did in the previous 5 or 6 or 7 years. I do think that some of the things they've done with the All Star game, the mic in the middle of the game to get to know some of the guys, they got a ways to go. But I think for someone like me who used to watch baseball all the time, I think I've probably been more in tune in the past couple of years, and watching some of the storylines. I think you're right. Historically, they haven't elevated the stars in a way that's important. Some of it is, I remember the storm that Stephen A. got into when he talked about the inability of marketing someone like Otani, who I think has been marketable, and they've been creative about it. They can do more with them. So I do think they got some more work to do there. You're right. Part of it is their regional machine. The one thing I said, the luckiest person in sports right now, I feel like he in the middle of it, is Magic Johnson. Everything he touching, he in that Dodgers group. He over here in Washington doing his thing over there. I mean, I'm all about Mavs, Michigan, man. Show me the way. Show me the way, brother. I'm with you. Everything you touch is like, ooh. I mean, he over there in the locker room doing his thing. But yeah, the Dodgers are finding their mark, and I love to be able to get more into that. You are a resident person in baseball, man. I love to learn more. Thing I'm paying attention to. There's a
yeah.
couple things. One, I knew about because I've been because I'm close to it because of the work that I do in my day job. Um, but was elevated with a little exchange that Carl and I had around uh, what was happening with Indiana and their athletic program in preparation of the kind of the sharing revenue sharing model, and I think there's like 25 staff members who are being laid off in preparation for that. And part of and I'm paying attention to how this is followed. There's a couple of things that are happening. There's the revenue sharing that is owed to the players who or athletes who were there before, which is part of the model. So over the next 5 years, in some ways, it's not really a tax, but the money that they would have given back to some of these universities, and it could be anywhere from $1 to $2 million on a budget, could be a little bit higher. per year they would give him back. They're holding that because as part of the agreement, they have to pay some of the prior players as part of it. And then, there's this, I think you got to have around 20 million to even be in the game. So everybody's reorganizing their infrastructure. Most of it is leaning on football. And so in a place like, and I have a look at IU, very few programs have been able to be self-sustaining. So something like Wisconsin's athletic program is one of the few in the country that has been self-sustaining, meaning they end up probably giving money back to the campus versus some of these other models where athletic programs are supported. They're doing their revenue, but they also get seg fees that then also from students who then also fund their model. So there's a lot of different models, and Indiana, for example, is their program is raising up, but they probably up until recently haven't been probably a high generating revenue sport for football. Now they probably will as they move forward, and so they're probably adjusting. So paying attention to the impact and how folks are organizing is something that I think is good. It was a great exchange between myself and Carl. And it's going to be really interesting to kind of figure out what the impact is, but it's impacting people's livelihoods because folks will have to over this particular next 5 years, make adjustments in, it might be one or two people on a sport, one or two people in a unit, but over time, that's people who, a lot of times, these are some people who probably been working around, with these organizations for a while, and they've been part of the fabric. Some of it is like they'll have an opening, and they just won't feel it. So that'll be part of how they might account for it.
By attrition,
So
yeah. By
yeah,
attrition, yeah.
Tristan. So, but
Yeah.
paying attention to how the business of college sports is changing on campuses and changing conversations. These folks are meeting and having conversations about this all the time, trying to figure out how to calibrate this stuff. It's pressing on the values, like what's the purpose, but that stuff they were trying to figure that out when Yale and Harvard took the field as well. That was still the same issue, and it still continues to be the issue today with just a lot more money. So that's something I'm paying attention to. Hopefully, we'll bring some folks into the space to help us understand how that stuff is unpacking, and looking forward to it. So a lot of good stuff in the news, guys. But we're gonna get to what we got to do. So we got a guy represented over here. Buckeyes in the redemption tour with a chip. You know, uh, you know, uh, they walking around. They did their thing. They had to do something after taking that loss on their home field to that. They say that team up north. I say that team in my old backyard. That team. So was a great game. Since Darnell, since you're wearing the gear, I might as well go to you first. I think most of us were like, Buckeyes. We felt like the Buckeyes were the team, but as you think about this team and this team's journey this season, like what are some things that you will reflect on as this team is the first team to win the 12 team playoff?
Well, the journey for this year and for the quarter team, the journey for the last 3-4 years. Like
Mhm.
this one was for C.J. Stroud. This one was for Justin Fields. This one was for Dwayne Haskins. This was for everybody, man. This was for that whole senior class. Much maligned. They got there. They never beat Michigan before, so everybody been on their case. But JT Tuimoloau, you got Jack Sawyer, Travion Henderson, Meke Buka. They all decided to stay. We all talk about the $20 million roster, and most of that is just to keep them from going to the NFL. And they came back for a goal, and they got it done. So hats off to them. Just happy to see them get that monkey off their back because I've had a chance to go down there a couple of times to a couple practices, and there's some really good guys down there. Just proud of the way they were able to rally together as a team and get it done. Like you said, they were the more talented team, so it wasn't too much of a surprise the result of this game. But hey, they had to go through Tennessee, they had to go through Texas, they had to go through Oregon. Um, it was a tough road to get here. So just putting respect on that. And with Ryan Day, what are they going to say now? I know they're going to say beat Michigan, but you got a national championship. There's only 3 coaches in college football right now that have a national championship. Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart. The only 3 head coaches that have won the national championship. So, like I said, what are they going to say now?
Carl, Ryan Day said this might be the greatest run in college football history. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that because the bottom line should be undefeated. So that team, there's no way that team should have lost a game this year, and that's on Ryan Day. Ryan Day didn't have those guys, ready for Michigan at home. At home, they weren't ready. They were physically weak, and the bottom line is that they had to have a near-death experience for their coach to almost get fired for them to wake up and play their potential. And so that's on Ryan Day. That's on Ryan Day all day, as we say. And Ryan Day, he's a mediocre coach, and it's great. It's a great victory for him. They're a phenomenal team with Smith and Jenkins and Henderson. There's no way the team should lose. And then defense.
Hey, the physically weak team ran
Yeah.
for
What did you do against
220
Michigan?
yards
What did you do against Michigan?
you're fighting Irish yesterday.
Yeah, but
They won the national championship.
They
Like I
won the
said,
national
what are you gonna
championship,
say?
but the respect is not there because there's no. No, I understand.
You don't have to respect it. We got a ring. You got to respect
experiences
it.
on 2 different times. They lost to Michigan at home. They lost to an Oregon team that eventually they blew out. And so again, this team they're not consistent, man. And so they're preseason number 1 next year, and they're the most talented and blah blah blah. But they're a weak team, and they're weak-minded in certain areas. And they have Notre Dame's number, no question about that. But I want to see him against Michigan next year. And Ryan Day got a reprieve for about 3 years, but if he doesn't win a championship in 3 years, his seat is smoking. And so remember, his seat is smoking. They're not in love with Ryan Day. They like Ryan Day. Remember that. And so that's the thing that
He said not
well, you know,
love, but
tell the
they
truth.
like it.
They like Ryan. They love Ryan Day. They like Ryan Day. And so that's the thing where you're gonna see the true fans. And I got friends who are big time Ohio State fans, and they're not feeling Ryan Day. This is what he should have done, what he did last night. That was the minimum. Was win the title with this team, the $20 million team, the line, the line from the All-Star line.
Hey, how much money do you think
Lots of
Texas
money
will
too. And
pay for their
Sark,
team? How much you think? How much
lots of
you
money on
think
the
Oregon
team
pay for
too.
their team?
Yeah,
How much you think Miami
but
pay for
Ohio
their
State got
team?
the best team. We got the better
You
team.
think
All
they're
those
alone in
teams.
that?
Yeah, all of them paid, but Ohio State paid more, and they got better talent.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
You think they paid more because it's public. It's public.
Darnell, let's talk about because one of the things we've been talking about different ways to build a team, and Notre Dame and Freeman is doing something. Now I would question playing zero coverage on third, and that felt a lot like our old Michigan coordinator who used to drive me crazy.
Don
Was it
Brown.
Don Brown defense?
Don
Uh,
Brown.
you're in third and long, and we're playing zero coverage, and you got them rolling. So that's another question. But at the end of the day, those kids play hard. He's built something down there in South Bend. What are your thoughts about as you look at what Notre Dame did? Again, I think both these teams got off the mat. What do you think he's doing down there in Freeman? And does he have something you feel like is sustainable?
I think he does. I mean, he's a good coach. He's a good coach, and he's a guy that guys rally around. Notre Dame is a program, in the NIL space that they'll be able to be competitive. I don't think money's going to be too much of an option for them as well. I think that kind of levels the playing field, especially when Notre Dame's been at a deficit when it comes to the educational standards. Not every 5-star going to be able to get into Notre Dame,
No,
but
shouldn't.
they will be able to get
No,
some.
should
Yeah,
be.
they will. They're able to get decent talent. He's a great motivator. Their team fights. You know what I'm saying? They a lot of teams. It would have been easy to throw in the towel after the first drive of the second half when they went down. What was it, 31
Hmm.
to 7 or something like that? Oh, after Judkins' 70-yard touchdown, it would have been easy to throw in the towel, but they fought back. They got a great that kid Great House is
Yeah,
a
they can
great
ball.
player.
Hmm.
Riley Leonard
Mhm.
played his heart out. You know what I'm saying? So got to take my hat off to them. Um, so yeah, I think they have something that's sustainable. Shout out CJ Carr. You know, he gonna be he gonna be in the mix in the future. So I think they have something there.
One of the things I was watching Pat McAfee show, and he said they were next to a room where everybody who was powerful in college football was in that room while they're watching the game, already making changes for next year. And one of the things I thought about when we were sitting there last night, we had all this crying in the first round, and we ended up with some really interesting football ending up in. And when you look at everybody's excitement at the end of that, it got me into this whole three iteration. You got to see how things uh, run out, but they're gonna make some changes because that's just kind of how people are doing it. And the changes aren't gonna be driven by the quality of the experience. The changes are gonna be driven by money. I feel like because that's just kind of how they operate. But Carl, when you're looking at the kind of changes that could come in to you know, I would say tweak it, but who am I? What are we looking at next year? What are you hearing? What are you thinking?
They're gonna reseed after each round. That makes it like the NFL does. They're not gonna have it where they're stuck in the brackets, and this is gonna be an easier way and having more interesting matchups if they do it that way, especially this year. I think also they're gonna expand teams. I think they're gonna move to 14 teams. Um, and then also I think they look at something that might be controversial. They haven't said this, but I think they should look at it as um, there should be automatic bids for winning the major conferences, but it shouldn't be guaranteed the top four seeds. I think they need to have flexibility of those top four seeds and have someone like Notre Dame who's independent, or have a team like Ohio State who might not be a conference champion who is clearly one of the top four teams in football getting that seed, and it would be better seeding that way. It'd be better quality football and better matchups. We have these blowouts in the first round, and so I think that's what they'll do to make the product better. It's a great product. I'm excited. I mean, like I told you, I want 32 teams. I know I'm the minority on that, but yeah, you shake it. I want if it's good enough for Division III, it's good enough for for CFP. So, but yeah, it's a good product. But if they do those three things, I think they'll be having a better product this year. Where again, I think that there's not going to be these controversies about seeding, and the seeding right now. The seeding was poor. Let's be real. They had the top four teams went out after two rounds, so they didn't see them well, and so it showed. But yeah, it still was a great pride. I was watching it. I'm not a big, y'all know, I'm not a big college football fan. I'll say it right there. I like Wisconsin. I like Colorado. I like Stanford. That's it. And I like the bowl games. But this captivated me. This CFP where I would like to see more games. I think it would get the fan like me who's not big into college football, like or you all, it get me even more jacked up because 32, 34 teams would be amazing as far as it goes. I mean, this is an amazing process. Kind of mini sort of March Madness with football, with cleats and pads. So really enjoyed it and enjoy the product. It could be better. That's what's great. It could be better, and it was a great product this year, but it could be better.
Yeah, and part of it, and as I thought about it more, and I'll go to you, Darnell, in a minute. Is I agree there probably needs to be reseeding. You know, winning the championship guarantees you in, so you ain't got to debate. You ain't got to be in at large. And then I think you can. I like the idea of real reseed. I think the other piece, and this is why I can't overreact to those teams losing, because part of it you got to figure out how you gonna get 18 to 21-year-olds to deal with time off. That's one. When you're trying to do it. The other part is you got the buy, but you didn't get the benefit of doing it at home. Like the only team that was able to really benefit similar like that was Texas, being close to their home. And so, you know, what's the use of getting a bye if you don't get the benefit of your fans benefiting from that bye? And I think there's something in that. I know it's tied to the money, right? Getting them over in the bowl game in that next round. So that might be the only reason I might say, do you push it out to 14? Let's say if it allows for a couple of games on campus, meaning the team who gets the bye has an opportunity to also do it on campus or, regionally where they're at, considered home. If you're Wisconsin, you don't want to do it at Camp Randall, can you do it, at Lambeau Field? Whatever it is, whatever you define, you want to do that. But it's I think that piece was missing, and getting those folks to figure out what they're going to do with time off, and I think that's always going to be an issue when you talk about the age group we're talking about. It's a hard. These aren't the professionals who sometimes themselves struggle with having time off. You see that same thing in NFL. So I don't think that's an issue that coaches have to just get better at how they do with that time. And that's something they're gonna have to learn and figure out. But I do agree with the reseeding after you figure out who the 12 are or whatever. That part I do, because it does allow for a team like Notre Dame or whatever, who probably should have gotten a bye, could have gotten a bye or something like that. That part I can rock with. Darnell.
Yeah, I agree that reseeding probably would have been a good idea. Ohio State was not the eighth best team, and it kind of and the way it played out, Oregon had to play them their first game, I believe. So yeah, there are some certain things that could be avoided, but as a coach, if you want to win a championship, you're going to play these teams anyway. So
Mhm.
you don't really think about it. But yeah, think about Indiana though. You're talking about things that changed, like as far as perspective wise. Like think about Indiana. Everybody was thinking, oh, they didn't belong. You know what I'm saying? Why is Indiana in here? And the only teams they lost to this season were Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Yep.
And those are the teams that played for the national championship. So
Yep.
at the end of the day, I think it was the first year, but I think they got things just about right. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I can't complain too much about it.
Yep.
As far as the 32 teams, yeah, I think that's ridiculous.
Yep.
You're going to be taken away from the regular season,
It
and
doesn't.
if you're
Division
not
three,
if you're not
Division
taken
three,
away from
doesn't
if you're not taken
three,
away from the regular season,
Division three at all. They got regular season.
but
You
who
can
do you
bring
watch in the regular
my guy
season?
Stan Davis on the show. Let him talk
Do
about
you, do you watch
Division
Mountain?
three.
Do you watch Mountain Union?
No, but
Do you watch Wisconsin Whitewater?
imagine it on the
Nobody
college.
cares there.
No, but I'm saying imagine the college level, Darnell. It'd be amazing. You know it would be.
No, it won't.
No, but the
No, it
reason, but
won't.
the reason why they do it in Division Three.
Also, what it would do, it would take off this dumb layoff they have, and we'd be having ball every week, which we should have instead of a layoff. We'd have ball every week, and they would make even more money, and the fans would be wonderful, and the players could get even bigger NILs. It'd be great for everybody. The athletic departments get more money. It's a win-win-win for everybody. They should definitely do it.
They try to make college football like the NFL. Part of the
It
thing
is
that makes
NFL.
college
It is
the thing that
professional
makes college football the
professional
thing about
football.
that makes college football great is the traditions, the rivalries,
Yep.
the regular seasons,
The
that's what makes
competition.
college football
What makes
college
is
football.
a competition.
You're devaluing the
And the
season.
There'll be new
scarcity.
rivalries. There'll be new
Not
rivalries.
everybody gets a trophy. Makes college football work. That's why I say 12 is about right, because even if you argue about who didn't get in, not, you were close.
There's no
Yeah.
argument. There's no argument
And,
if you
and,
have
and
30.
and my
And
argument
there's
is,
no
You know what the
yeah,
champion is.
my
You
argument
know
is,
what the
if you have 3 losses, don't even come talk to me. I don't care what they look
right.
like.
And there's no season where the number 15 team is deserving of playing for national championship anyway. So you think if you don't make it, you don't have an argument. Let alone there's never 30 teams. 30 like you can forget about 30 teams. Like
champion.
who's the 30th team? Who's the 30th team right now? Just think about that. Who is the 32nd team in college football right now? I don't know. Who would it be? Would it be your Wisconsin Badgers?
No, heck
Would
no.
it be?
It might.
Would it be
60.
Michigan
You
State?
might have to put
60.
Would it be?
Michigan in there.
Would it be? Yeah, Michigan will be in there. Would it be Mississippi? Mississippi State? Like, what are we
No,
talking
Mississippi
about?
State.
These
Yeah,
teams don't.
not Mississippi State. It'd be
Slippery
maybe Ole
Rock.
Miss.
You want
These
Slippery
teams
Rock?
don't.
You
These
want
teams.
Slippery Rock?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can't do
No,
it's
that.
a
Slippery
it's a
Rock,
waste
man.
of time. It's a
They ain't waste of time at all. Right
Wasting
now,
my
you
time.
have right now. Look at as far as the ranking, you got Navy would be number 26, LSU 27.
Navy,
Let me
Navy?
finish. Navy was playing
LSU.
well. Yeah,
You see what
LSU?
happened to LSU
Louisville,
against
Michigan, Kansas State.
Did you see
Those
what
are
happened
teams
to
that
Kansas State?
yeah, those teams are
Did you
great
see
teams.
what happened to LSU when they play Alabama?
Yeah.
When Bryce Underwood was down there, and then he just flipped. The next week he was like, "Nah, I can't go down here.
Yeah, it was
I
going.
can't go." There.
I'm gonna
He
go
got
back up
paid
north.
too. They put a
Put
nice
my
package
coat
for
up.
him to go to Michigan, but the main thing is that I want to see as many teams. I enjoyed the increased ball this year. It was amazing, and to see, like I said, these first round matchups, and if a Louisville in there would be tremendous. I mean, look, those are
South Carolina
teams.
will be in there.
Yeah, South
I know
Carolina would be in
that.
there regardless. Yeah, Illinois would be in there. That would be amazing. All those teams would be in there. That would be a tremendous. It would be a ratings bonanza. It would be people be printing money. And look at the team now. Alabama would be in there probably always, which is a damn thing.
What you're really trying to turn it into is March Madness, and
Yeah, I
that's
think
not good.
and look
That
at
That's
doesn't
not
work for
good.
football.
it works for football.
That doesn't work for
They
football.
expanded. They need to expand it more. And I'm telling you, more football. You look at the NFL.
You're just gonna
You-
get more kids getting hurt,
NFL be a
yeah,
20
you not
game.
and that's what
NFL be
it is.
20 games.
you're not gonna get the VCU run. You're not gonna get the VCU
Yeah,
run.
but one thing
You
about
not gonna get the
football,
last.
injuries
You,
equalizes. Injuries equalize.
yeah, you're not gonna
Remember that.
get it. All right, Carl. Let's get to your team. They got their man. They came out of nowhere. They came off They
I don't
came
say it
off
came
the
out of nowhere. I
fucking
mean,
clown.
I mean, again,
What is going on?
well, I think I'm not going to give Ryan Poles credit because I think Ryan Poles is a joke. I think I give Kevin Warren credit. I think Kevin Warren has brought professionalism to the Chicago Bears. He's brought. There's all these rumors he wants to be next NFL commissioner, which I don't see happening because he's too old to be it. But we all can dream. But you see the professionalism. You see the fact that at least listening to Chicago radio. Today I was working out. They had this 2 weeks ago. They were negotiating this 2 weeks ago. This was well planned. They went through the charade of all these interviews and made people look befuddled, just including myself. Like, are you going to interview all these cats? Like, come on. And they had their guy. They sold him Caleb Williams is clearly the key because I think that all the intel, the so-called intel, said that Ben Johnson wanted to pick his own GM, Lance Newmark, who's now the assistant GM with the Commanders, who was with Detroit for many years. He wanted to, but you look at the contract, he got $13 million per year. $13 million per year as a first-time head coach. He's going to bring his own, probably bring Hank Fraley as his OC to help fix that line. And so they really came with, they brought Ben Johnson, again, credibility as far as Caleb Williams is concerned. So I think the Raiders couldn't do that.
They should
The
get
Raiders,
Caleb Johnson too.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, I meant. And so the bottom line is that's where I think that you look at the Bears, that they've become professional as far as it goes, that they're exuding confidence. And you even look at when he was in the building today, Hallis Hall, just the energy in the building. I've never seen energy like that. Maybe time of Lovey in Super Bowl run, but this is again amazing. And, like I said, I want McCarthy. I can't lie. Full disclosure, I want McCarthy. I just think that Sandy's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And we've done a hot coordinator route all the time. Matt Nagy is supposed to be Andy Reid minus 100 pounds and the next genius. And I'm just afraid that this might be Josh McDaniels 2.0. And ironically, Josh McDaniels was hired today to be the offensive coordinator back in New England for his third time. And, I hope he can do it because I love my Bears, but I would have rather had the guy who was developed the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, won the Super Bowl, understands, would be ready-made and not learning the job. And also, I'll just keep it real. You're going to start frowning, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I don't like the fact this guy comes to the Lions. The Lions are the worst. This is the most raggedy organization in sports. They're losers. They're a culture of losing. And so you're going to bring a culture of losing to Chicago where we're getting to that point.
They won 15 games.
Yeah, and they lost the Commanders at home. Whatever.
Yeah, but they won 15 games.
They've never been a Super Bowl. They've never been a Super Bowl.
But
they've never been
before
a
you get
Super
to the
Bowl.
Super Bowl, you got to win 15 games. Before you get to
They've
Super
never
Bowl,
been
you
a
got to
Super
win
Bowl.
12
They're a
games.
losing
There's
franchise.
a process.
They're a losing culture.
You
And
got to
so,
win.
again, I think it's nonsensical that you're going to bring a guy from a losing culture, a losing fabric, and think he's going to come to Chicago.
They led in all the offensive categories. What are we
And
talking
they
about?
lost. They lost. They
But
had
you
5
got to be in
turnovers.
the lead in those
They had 5,
categories
and
before you can
they
win.
had Jamison Williams trying to throw the ball on trick plays. So again, I want Mr. Johnson to do well, but was I alarmed by last week? Heck yeah, I was alarmed by last week. I lost a lot of confidence in Ben Johnson after that game with the Commanders, and so he's got to get back our confidence in Chicago, and we're happy right now. But I put this way: this ain't a love affair. We like Ben Johnson. We don't love Ben Johnson.
All right.
So that's the main thing.
I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring in Darnell. One of the things I've been talking to a lot of folks on, like the key to success, starts with the setup. Most people fail in organizations because they don't have a plan for their success, and we call this onboarding. You got to have a strategy for how you bring in people in. So if you're setting up the onboarding to try to set up uh, uh, Johnson to be successful with the Bears, what are some of the things that you think are important to get him off on the right start?
The draft, first and foremost, draft and free agents. They need to overhaul and completely rebuild their offensive line. They need to rebuild the offensive line.
Yep.
They need to get better at that front. You know what I'm saying?
Two, can't rush the passer.
Yeah. They need a few things.
Linebackers too. We got linebackers stealing money like Edmonds and.
But as far as the coaching thing, just insulate him with experience as far as assistant coaches.
Dennis Allen's coming.
Like
Dennis Allen's coming. Darren Rizzi's coming for special teams. Hank Fraley, his guys coming for as OC. So he's got. I mean, the step.
He'll be a first time
Let my boy get out. Come on, Hamper. Let him get in here. Talk a little bit.
Yeah, but as far as what Carl was saying, Chicago fans will never be happy.
Yeah.
Chicago will never be happy.
Should we be?
They were they were clamoring for Ben Johnson 2 months ago. The season wasn't even over yet. They wanted Ben Johnson.
He did.
And now they got him. And now they don't want him no more. They don't want him no more.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now
they got the date. They got the first date. Now they're like, oh, you good.
They got Caleb Williams. They wanted him so bad. They don't.
I want Jaden Daniels.
You did not want Jaden Daniels.
You said anybody.
You said anybody that
talked about
Jaden
it being
Daniels,
broken. You didn't say nothing. We don't even want to hear that.
Hey,
you were talking about he ain't gonna last.
That brother's bad. He's still not.
Like
it's only year one. He might be RG3 part 2, but
you said he was built like a point guard.
He is built like a point guard.
You said he should play basketball.
He should play basketball.
I told Darnell, what we're gonna do for you? We're gonna create a segment called
What Carl said.
What
Carl said, right?
We're gonna call it I Apologize. We're gonna start, we might get we're gonna drop some Anita Baker before we do it. And you gotta talk about we got to do your full apology. You got to do your full apology because you didn't want nothing to do with the young man.
I did not.
Darnell and I would try to tell you he was the real deal. And he was tough.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned, man. I'm stunned.
And now you over here looking over the fence. Looking over the fence
I am, man.
Looking over the fence, talking about I wish I was with you, singing all kinds of lullabies.
Yeah.
So, Darnell, I think you hit it right on the head. I think getting Dennis Allen or something like that. I think one of the things you have to do to allow for him to be the CEO and manager is take away one side of the ball. Get you a veteran coordinator, get you a crew you can trust over there to get that defense back up to where it needs to be, so he can do what he does on offense and also learn how to be the person who is overseeing the entire operation in a way in which he can kind of grow into it, but start from his strengths and know what they can have. So I think that and he's got this is where they're gonna be trusted. You hitting it right. Offensive line, they gotta be creative. They gotta find folks, whether it's through free agency and they gotta draft. But they gotta like you said, rebuild. But a lot of that's gonna come down with philosophy and teaching. You got the folks who can teach, who can do
Yeah,
that. So I think that's part of the infrastructure he's trying to bring with him to support. And one of the things I would think about success next year, I'm not going to look at wins, but I'm going to say your offense under him needs to be in the top 15 next year.
we need
Your
wins, but
defense has got to be closer to the top 10. It's got to get back to where the Bears
yeah,
were
top
not too
5.
long
Yeah,
ago.
we're top 5 defense.
It's got to be on a consistent basis. It's
It
got to
does,
look
yeah.
dominating. It didn't look dominating.
We
So
imploded. We imploded. I mean, the whole team
that's part.
imploded.
So that
Yeah,
part has got to
they
be
were
the
too
strength.
tired. They're in the
Yeah.
field too long. I don't care how. This is the NFL. If you're on the field too long,
But
I don't
if
care
your
how good you
offense
are.
is,
You're gonna implode.
that's my point. But if the offense
Yeah,
is moving more towards the middle to top half, that is helping your defense.
yeah.
Productive. And so I
You get a
think
better run game too. Swift ain't it, man. Swift's terrible. So Swift
so
ain't it.
so whatever those components that allow you to do that, I think that's success. How that plays out in terms of record, it might play out. But if they're moving that way, I think they could probably have a decent record under him. But I think they got to build. It's got to be a 3-year model with him. Build a foundation to be able to do that, especially in a division where the Lions are going to still figure out how to be good,
Packers too,
and the Vikings are good, and
yeah.
Green Bay gonna be. It's gonna be
Green
a
Bay gonna
tough
be good. It's
division.
a dangerous division, man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so we'll continue to see what that looks like moving forward. Um, the next topic that we got here in the middle here is I was listening to Stephen A. and uh, he made a declaration. He was like the NBA should just cancel All Star Weekend. Now,
Amen.
as a former person who has gone to All Star Weekend, the NBA All Star Weekend from the experience of being All Star Weekend is probably the best All Star Weekend of all the sports. If you go and have the experience of being All Star Week, when you think about the movers and shakers who show up in those spaces, it's the best out of all the sports. Anybody who's ever been to All Star Weekend from the total experience will tell you that. From the product side, he might be right because there's not a lot of motivation. But I just wanted to hear from y'all. I'll go to you, Darnell, and then come back to Hammer. Uh, NBA and All Star Weekend, man. Are you with Stephen A? Do you just need to cancel it?
The way it looks like now, yes.
Mm,
But I think there's ways you can save it. But the actual All Star game doesn't look like it can be saved. I would still love to see a King of the Court 1-on-1 tournament in the
mm.
All Star weekend. But you know how it is. The NBA players they're not gonna sign up, or the stars are not gonna sign up. So like Stephen A. Smith said, you might as well just cancel it
You cancel it.
because they don't take nothing serious. They don't want to do nothing. And hey, that's just the culture we live in now.
Yeah,
Nothing
and,
matters.
and, and and as hard as I want to say, he right. It started with LeBron because this fear of failure, in a sense, not putting yourself out. He broke the chain. Up until then, they all passed it, and that was part of the passing the torch. And then everybody else was like, "I can opt out." And I'm not mad at him, but I gotta say he might be right. Carl, do you cancel it?
Yeah, you cancel it because there's no pride in it anymore. We grew up, Darnell's young, so he didn't know how All Star Game used to be. Used to be where people like MJ, Magic, there was a pride and defense being played, and this product, or if you want to call it a product, it's just awful. I mean, they don't play defense. You look at the top players. You got dude from the Bulls, and they're getting excited by him. Matas being in the slam dunk contest. That's embarrassing, man. A guy who's a barely rotation player. They're getting excited about him in the All Star game. So you're right. LeBron broke the chain as far as the star players doing the dunk contest stuff like that because one, he won't get himself hurt. Two, you're right. It's about failure. It's about controlling the narrative. It's about the best thing for your brand, your image, and any type of failure hurts your brand. But that's hurt the whole game. So they need to cancel it unless they write in CBAs or write in contracts that there should be mandatory participation in these games and more of an incentive for the All-Star weekend. If you don't have that, you should get rid of it because there's just no incentives to make it a watchable product. I mean, I can't watch it. I don't know about you. I can't watch it right now. I cannot watch it, period. And especially the new rendition of it where they're playing that, they're playing to what, 25 or something else like that. It's just crazy. I mean, it doesn't even look like basketball. It looks like it doesn't even look like hoop basketball. I mean, Rucker Park would be better than what the All-Star game is right now. So that's the sad thing about it. They need to get rid of it, like Steve says, unless they have incentives to try to improve it contractually, CBA wise, in a way that will force players to do it, or more money monitoring incentives, something that would make it, because money's the only thing that's going to do it. But in the past, we were able to have it where, again, there was monetary benefit because people would monetize the All-Star game performances to more money. That's not the case right now. So that they should definitely get rid of it, D-Walls.
Yeah, I think my only option to be able to keep it. I like some of the other elements of the All-Star weekend. If you were able to create this mini tournament in a way where the money meant something and there was something there, that would be interesting. But I do like the idea that they had about going around the country leading up to All-Star weekend to find the best dunkers in the country. Because some of these other kind of dunk contests, when they find those guys do some incredible things. That might not be a bad element to add to bring the everyday person into that experience. With some with $1 million on the line on who wins it. Represent the city, having players who are sponsoring the guys. I think that could add some elements. But you're right. If we can't get some of those kind of incentives as part of it, man. But I'm telling you, if you ever been to the weekend, anybody who's ever been to the weekend is like, don't do it.
Yeah,
Like
no, I've heard. Yeah, I
outside of
heard it's
it, when
crazy.
you talk
Yeah,
about from a
I heard Whitlock
networking
talking about
business, yeah,
how crazy it was.
yeah, from a
I mean, it's gotta be
networking
like you've been to
business
summer league. You've been to
entertainment,
summer league, right? You've been to
yeah.
summer league.
I
If
haven't
you've
been
been
to
to
summer
summer league,
league yet. We're
man,
gonna
summer
get
league's
that on the
amazing.
calendar.
That summer league is what. Please invite me if you go.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah,
summer
yeah,
league's amazing, man. I mean,
yeah.
no,
It's
you've been to summer league, haven't you? I thought you went. Yeah, but
No, I never went.
yeah,
summer league's amazing, man. We gotta go. We gotta go to summer league, bro. I
yeah.
mean, that's because you network there. You see the coaches are there. The talent from it was amazing, man. I stumbled on it. I literally, me and my good friend Ken from Cali, we were out there just to have a good time, and I didn't even know I was there until I walked in the gym. I was like, it was Blake Griffin's rookie year. It was unbelievable, man. That was the best time I had, man. Going stadium, it just amazing, man. Amazing.
Yeah, I had a chance to go to the All Star weekend when it was up in Minneapolis way back in the day, and it was,
Okay, that must
man,
be
it was,
amazing, man.
man, we were in there.
That must be amazing,
Yeah,
man.
it was quite the experience.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stories. We might have to have story time at some time about that All Star weekend, but it has probably gotten better since then from the out of event part of it in terms of the all things going around the game. But it's something there's something that I know. I could tell Adam Silver is frustrated, so he's trying to figure out how to address it. So we'll see where that goes. But the heat is on for them to kind of make it happen. All right, let's drop the mic. Let's give out some flowers and see what we can do. Give out uh, uh, um, some flowers. So who wants to go first? Anybody got anything?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Um, Drop the mic by giving my flowers out to a name I forgot when I talked about the Ohio State thing. Donovan Jackson. Donovan Jackson was the MVP of the team. He was the probably the key to this whole championship run. In the Oregon game, in the first half, they lost. A guy who's going to be a top 15 pick in Josh Simmons at left tackle. And Donovan Jackson about 4 weeks later, because I believe Zim Mahalski was the backup at left tackle, and he ended up getting hurt. So duty called, and Donovan Jackson, he picked up the call, and he slid from left guard to left tackle and played absolutely lights out, phenomenal football the rest of the season. He had a couple shaky reps the first week when they went against Penn State, because the first week he ever played left tackle was against Penn State against Abdul Carter. So as you can expect, there were some moments in there. It was like, oh, is this gonna, what I'm saying? But they picked it up, and he's developed. He's gotten better every single week. And this whole playoff run, he's been absolutely phenomenal. So I want to take my hat off to Donovan Jackson. He's definitely made himself a whole lot of money. He might not play. He probably won't play tackle in the NFL, but the prospect that he could, if he had to, is gonna shoot himself up a lot of people's draft boards. So yeah, like then again, I take my hat off, tip my cap, and give my flowers out to Donovan Jackson,
All
master
right.
catch.
There you go. Hammer.
I'm gonna give out my flowers to Kevin Warren.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I don't think this would have happened with Ben Johnson if he weren't the president of the Bears. I've seen type of professionalism the last, we fired a coach in season, which is never heard of. That only can, that's a test. You test that to definitely his leadership and the fact that it seems that the McCaskies, who have been one of the worst owners in sports, are actually listening to this brother. They paid for a coach. They're one of the cheapest organizations, and they paid for a coach, Ben Johnson, $13 million per year. And so this brother is bringing a different type of culture to the Bears, where I think he's lifted up Ryan Poles, even though Ryan Poles I don't think deserves it. Lifted up Ryan Poles, trying to salvage that brother. We got a brother quarterback, Brother Williams. We got now Ben Johnson, and so the main thing is building that culture and stop being a laughing stock of professional sports. That's what we've been for the past 7 years. And so, I'm really optimistic that you can turn around and really see the leadership. And also the key thing to talk about too, that stadium. We got to get that stadium, either the downtown stadium or our Arlington Heights stadium. And he's working on that with Mayor Johnson's working that with other entities, buying Arlington Heights land. So I'm really impressed with that brother. He came from Big Ten, conference, and now trying to take the next level as far as trying to revitalize my Bears, who have been pitiful the past 7 years. So yeah, drop flowers to Kevin Warren. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna give mine to Jaden Daniels, man.
Yeah,
And I
yes,
we,
sir.
we debated this cat, said he was built like a point guard, and sometimes I gotta figure out whether he got a pulse. And
That brother got a pulse.
he went into Detroit,
Yeah,
uh, 15 win team, them fans going crazy, and he was just doing his thing, man. And I
sure.
just that kid, you got to know when you're watching something. You just got to say, man, and what he's done for that organization. And even early on when he was giving Doug Williams his flowers, like understood the history and was connecting and doing some of those things. Like, we talk a lot of times about this is like when we work with young folks, both of y'all know that from coaching to some of the work, some of these young folks who just got an old soul. He got an old soul. He just seemed like he got an old soul and does his thing. And so, I just want to. Sometimes we always are critical of young folks and saying what they don't have. And even our conversations about the NBA and how some of these folks are seeing their responsibility with the All Star Weekend. This young man just seems to understand um, the assignment. He understands the assignment and delivers all the time. If I had to tell him, he's on the honor roll. He's on the dean's list. He's Phi Beta Kappa. he's all that. He understands assignment and delivers every time. So I just gotta get a young man his flowers and say, like Darnell said, we got to tip a cap to him because he's put everybody on notice. He here for a while. All right, y'all. Thank you for being here with us for another episode. Please again check us out on realsportsguys.com. Also on Real Sports Guys on all podcasts, your favorite podcast platform. And as we always say, we'll see you on the other side.
Hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down. Can always go another round. Welcome to the underground. Real sports with real sports guys. It's a flex that had his mindset. Ready for whatever grind next. My mindset working with the time left. Hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down. Can always go another round. Welcome to the underground. Real sports with real sports guys.